Don't forget to like and subscribe. On a warm Saturday morning, July 15, 2012, 13-year-old Nathan Reynolds set out on what was supposed to be a fun-filled weekend in the Cascade Mountains of Washington with his father, Mark, and a group of fellow outdoor adventurers. The trip had been planned for months, a bonding experience for fathers and sons who shared a love of nature, hiking, and fishing. Nathan, an eager and independent boy, had always enjoyed the outdoors and was excited to spend time camping in the remote wilderness. That morning, as the sun rose over the towering pines, Nathan and Mark made their way to a small, peaceful creek just beyond the campsite, about 150 meters, roughly 500 feet, away. The pair stood at the water's edge, casting their fishing lines into the cool, clear water, enjoying the stillness of the early hours. But as Nathan stepped forward, he miscalculated his footing, slipping on the damp, mossy rocks. His shoes and socks were instantly soaked through, sending a shiver up his spine. Annoyed by the discomfort, he decided to return to camp to change into dry clothes before continuing their fishing trip. The campsite was close by, so Mark wasn't concerned when Nathan announced he was heading back on his own. The two had walked this trail multiple times in the past few days, and the path was well-worn and easy to follow. Besides, Nathan had completed an outdoor survival course and was confident in his ability to navigate the woods. As a precaution, Mark kept his eyes on his son as he walked along the familiar route, even calling out reminders about which direction to take. Nathan, wearing a black hoodie, red sweatpants, and his favorite Converse sneakers, moved steadily along the trail, his father watching as he disappeared around a bend in the trees. Mark assumed he would be back within 10 minutes. But as the minutes ticked by, and Nathan didn't return, a knot of worry tightened in Mark's stomach. At first, he reasoned that Nathan might have gotten distracted, perhaps stopping to tie his shoe or exploring something along the way. 20 minutes passed. Then 30. Mark's concern deepened. Deciding not to wait any longer, he reeled in his fishing line and quickly made his way back to camp. But when he arrived, there was no sign of Nathan. His tent was untouched, and no one in the group had seen him return. Panic set in. Mark called Nathan's name, his voice echoing through the trees. He checked the other tents, the communal eating area, even the surrounding woods. Nothing. The other campers joined in, scouring the immediate area, but there was no sign of the 13-year-old. Within 45 minutes of his disappearance, an official search effort was launched. The campsite had been chosen for its accessibility and clear landmarks, large rock formations, distinct tree clusters, and an open clearing, making it an unlikely place for someone to become lost. Yet, as hours passed with no sign of Nathan, the mystery deepened. Search teams expanded their efforts, covering miles of dense forest, rocky slopes, and nearby water sources. Helicopters flew overhead, while volunteers, park rangers, and rescue dogs combed through the terrain. Nightfall brought an eerie stillness, and with it, an increasing sense of dread. Days passed, and despite an intensive search operation involving hundreds of people, there was no sign of Nathan, until a single clue emerged. Nearly a kilometer, about half a mile, from where he was last seen, searchers discovered a lone Nike sock, partially buried in the dirt. It was Nathan's. But there were no footprints, no other clothing, no indication of where he might have gone next. Authorities ruled out foul play, stating there was no evidence to suggest an abduction. Their conclusion? Nathan had likely wandered off course, become disoriented, and succumbed to the elements. But Mark Reynolds never accepted that answer. How could his son have vanished so suddenly, in such a small, well-marked area? Why was there no other trace of him besides a single sock, so far from where he was last seen? The questions haunted him for years, and to this day, Nathan's fate remains an unsolved mystery, one that his father refuses to give up on. Martha Reynolds had gone on a hike with her boyfriend, Daniel Carter, her Rottweiler, Rocky, and several others: Jason Carter, Emily Stevens, Travis Walker, Christine, Johnson Miller, and Mike Walker. According to the group's accounts, they were on the mountain that day to scatter the ashes of Daniel's deceased parents, who had passed away a few months earlier. The group stated that Martha became very emotional after the ceremony and decided to take a different trail than the others. They said they believed the trails would reconnect later and that they would meet her back at the trailhead. Martha and Rocky never arrived at the meeting point. Martha's car keys and driver's license were found in the possession of those who had been hiking with her. Her cell phone was with one of Daniel's friends, back at her house. It is unclear if she had any other personal belongings with her at the time of her disappearance. It is worth noting that Martha used hearing aids. After realizing that their 65-year-old friend had not returned, the group decided not to wait for her and instead left the mountain. Daniel Carter and some others from the group went to a local gas station to buy burritos and beer. Others went to a supermarket for groceries. 4 hours later, Daniel and some friends returned to the mountain and reported Martha missing. When filing the report, Daniel and his acquaintances claimed to be Martha's family, preventing her actual relatives from being notified immediately. Her son, who was unaware of her whereabouts, only learned of her disappearance the following day, a Sunday, when she did not show up for work. Martha had worked for 30 years at a major supermarket chain. When she didn't show up, her boss immediately tried calling her and, after failing to reach her, contacted her emergency contact, her son. After being unable to reach his mother, he went to file a missing person report and found out one had already been opened the day before. Martha Reynolds and Rocky were officially missing. Within 48 hours, search teams from 4 counties were deployed to comb through the mountain trails, but they found nothing. The next day, helicopters were sent out to scan the area using thermal imaging technology, but no clues were found. Search dogs were used within the first 48 hours, detecting scents in the parking lot and on the main trail, leading authorities to believe that Martha had indeed left the mountain after the group abandoned her. By September 12, police officially stated that they no longer believed Martha was on the mountain. 25 days after her disappearance, Rocky was found in poor condition, severely malnourished and dehydrated, still in the mountain region. After the dog was found, police revised their theory, considering that Martha may never have left the mountain. There are several theories about her disappearance. One possibility is that she fell and was severely injured, eventually succumbing to the elements. Another theory suggests that Daniel Carter, her boyfriend, might have been involved. Various reports in different sources mention that Carter has a criminal record, but only one local news station stated that he had been previously convicted for crimes such as assault on police officers, drive-by shooting, and child abuse. According to the Clearwater Times, Martha's son, Alex Patterson, stated that 2 days after his mother disappeared, while aiding in the search, he encountered Carter on the access road to the mountain. Up until that point, Carter had not actively participated in the search, and according to Alex, he was behaving suspiciously. Friends and family of Martha claim that Daniel Carter has been very uncooperative. He was upset when a Facebook page was created to raise awareness about the case and personally confronted the family over it. When he discovered that one of Martha's longtime co-workers was running the page, he confronted him as well. Witnesses reported that he was seen driving Martha's luxury vehicles around town instead of using his own car. Martha's family had to engage in a legal battle for rights to her house and belongings. Instead of cooperating, Carter chose to vacate the house. When the family finally gained access, they found the residence in a terrible state. The titles to her vehicles were scattered on the kitchen counter, and her safe and safety deposit box had been opened and rummaged through, with several items missing. Shortly after the family moved Martha's vehicles to another location, they were involved in a drive-by shooting. The family believes Carter may have orchestrated this as an act of retaliation. Less than a year after Martha's disappearance, Daniel Carter married another woman. He is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for charges unrelated to Martha's case. Martha's son, friends, and family believe she is deceased and continue to search the mountain regularly in hopes of finding her remains and uncovering the truth about her fate.